Hi everybody, how are you? It's Mike Andrew once again providing a short video with practical insights as it applies to business and leadership. My last video, I randomly picked 10 insights that I've provided in the past and just did a quick review on those 10, and the response was pretty favorable. People generally seem to like that format, going back and reviewing 10 different things. So I'm going to do something similar, but I'm just going to do 5, keep it shorter. So I'll just pick 5, again, random things that I'm pretty sure I've spoken about in the past. So let's get started. Number 1, one of the lessons and one of the principles that I always try to carry with me, and I learned this many years ago, is the notion of treat issues coldly, people warmly. Issues coldly, people warmly. You can do both. It's not mutually exclusive. And that comes in very handy when you have to have difficult conversations with people. You're dealing with the issue, the situation, not the person, and you're treating the person with respect. It's helped me out in many, many difficult conversations during my career. Number 2, related to that, is we need to see more candor, honesty. You know, they say people are your greatest asset. Well, if people are really your greatest asset, we got to be honest with them. And so how do you be candid, or I'll say even courageous? Because it's difficult when you have to have those difficult conversations. That goes back to number 1, treat the issue coldly, the person warmly. Jack Welch, the former chairman, CEO of GE, he wrote a whole chapter in his book. The name of the book was Winning. And in that chapter, I forget the name of the chapter, but he talked about the biggest dirty little secret in business is the lack of candor. If you want to establish your credibility, your brand, know how to be honest, candid, direct, straightforward, and in a respectful manner. It will really enhance your credibility as a leader moving forward. And to me, when we talk about integrity, that's an example of integrity. Demonstrating integrity in difficult situations. Number 3, feedback. There's a very well-known book, I think it's sold about 40 million copies, called The 1 Minute Manager, and they talk about giving 1-minute feedback. And their famous quote is, "Feedback is the breakfast of champions." I can't imagine, other than day-to-day work experience, a better developmental method than feedback, especially when you observe. Oftentimes I'll go to meetings to observe people and give them feedback how they ran the meeting right afterwards, and it's based on firsthand observation immediately after the meeting. I did a lot of work with McKinsey, and McKinsey refers to feedback as their number 1 method of development. I remember reading a whole article about that in the MIT Sloan Management Review, and I read it. I said, that's exactly true. McKinsey gives feedback on everything. If you're running a meeting, someone's assigned to give you feedback. Great method of development. The good news is the younger generation today out of college, they are so hungry for feedback. I've never seen anything like it. And to me, honestly, other than day-to-day work experience, it's the number 1 method of development. And around feedback, knowing how to give feedback. Again, what did you see? What was the effect? I try not to get too technical. A lot of training companies say go through these steps of feedback. Forget it. Just use common sense. What did you see? What was the effect? And if they did something wrong, what did you see? What was the effect? And what do you suggest that you would do differently? And by the way, receiving feedback, 1 rule, just say thank you. Thank you. You don't have to agree with it. You have time later to explain it, but say thank you, and you can ask clarifying questions to make sure you understood the essence of the feedback. Number 4, this is also a McKinsey principle, having a point of view. McKinsey calls it having a fact-based point of view. McKinsey and other consulting firms get paid a lot of money for having a fact-based point of view for their clients. And that, to me, turns into, if you've got a very clear point of view, it helps you being decisive. My weak spot. Honestly, if there's one thing I wish I could have been better in my career, it's being decisive. And that starts with having a very clear viewpoint. And I think when you're decisive and you have a clear point of view, it's always highly valued. Finally, number 5, I will always lean on the side of someone with the right attitude versus aptitude. I talked the other video about hard work trumps talent. Well, attitude trumps aptitude. I've had to get rid of some people because of their attitude. It was unhealthy. It was a cancer to the organization. Attitude over aptitude. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.